Well, hi, thanks for talking to me. Appreciate it. Really enjoyed the season. So the first thing I want to ask you, this is just silly, but you made me wonder because you mentioned it. Did they let you keep the letter, the murder?
No, no,
Oh, they
unfortunately,
didn't. I figured
I
they.
had to give the letter back. I guess they wanted to erase it and start over for the next person who got murdered.
Okay, I figured they would. All right. Well, my other question was, how much did you, as the season went on, did you pay attention to did you think a lot about your emotions and your micro expressions, or were you more playing the game and worrying about everybody else?
No, I really tried to keep a more of a straight poker face. And the reason why I tried to keep more of a straight poker face, which actually might have translated into being traitor suspicion, was only because I knew there was a possibility anybody could get recruited at some point. And if that was, I didn't want to overexpress or give too much, kind of like what Kate's doing right now, right? She's shutting off more now that she's a trader. But if she was just off most of the time and not on, there would have been a much easier way to transition into actually being a trader then.
Right. Do you think you would have made a good trader? Do you wish you had been
Uh,
the trader too? Is the second part of that.
yeah, totally. I definitely think I would have been a much better trader than a faithful at this point. Only because like I said, I apparently have a better poker face than I thought. I mean, like I said, so much that I didn't have to say anything and people thought I was a trader. And I was just much better at I wasn't as good at these twists and turns like I thought I would be. Like for instance, there was a point where I thought Peter might have been a traitor just because he didn't die when he got recruited. And that threw me off. I was like, it's like, aren't you supposed to die and get murdered if you don't accept the letter? So that's what threw me off so much about Peter the whole time, which made me like, if I was a traitor, I wouldn't have thought about it. I'd be cool. I'd go in there, just murder people and whatnot. And that was me.
Right. Did you find, and was that what you found the hardest, or did you find something else difficult too, other than trying to navigate who's a traitor and who's not?
Nah, I mean, I just think mostly like the most difficult part was for me is to kind of, as a faithful, the hardest was when am I going to just take a leap of faith and just trust? And I never really found that at one point. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I went in there just thinking, eventually, don't trust anybody. It's better, don't trust anybody, even faithfuls. And then at some point, I know the faithfuls even said, like, at some point, you got to trust someone. And I never found that actually. So that was probably a fatal mistake.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is there something now, you looking back this far after the fact, is there something you should have done different, you think, or something that really caused the.
I mean, with the information I knew, like I did trust Peter, Trishelle, and Bergie eventually at some point. But like I said, the twist was the recruitments, and that kind of threw me off in my trust. But at one point, I do wish I would have trusted the group a lot more instead of just having this rigid, like I said at the finals, like mindset of go in there with a plan. I wish I would have been more flexible with trusting then and just been like, okay, trust no one until maybe mid-season.
Trust me, yeah. Now, do you kind of knew it was Phaedra, but at the same time, as a viewer, every time somebody watches this show, it's like it's this person, and they think they know, and they're usually wrong. But you guys have been so good this season at catching it. But were you surprised when you found out for sure, like what was going on, and they revealed everything to you?
No, I wasn't because there was something that I remember Deontay. It wasn't actually it was spoken at the round table. It wasn't actually shown on the show. But Deontay apparently was suspicious of Phaedra too. Somebody leaked that information. And so I was like, ooh, like actually, even though Deontay was wrong with Max, that I mean that makes sense. Like what they were saying about Phaedra. I think what I was just shocked about was the twists and turns of like all of a sudden Parvati. I thought Phaedra would go out first, then Parvati. And that was the only thing that was really confusing.
Was there anyone that you were like excited to meet? That, I mean, I don't know how much you knew them outside of the show, but beforehand, was there anybody you were excited to meet on the show?
I knew nothing about anybody on the show. Apparently, like I say I was excited to meet Deontay, but I actually didn't even know who he was when I first entered. Like, and I found out through talking to him that, oh, I actually know your wife from fashion. So from fashion events, and I always see him from afar. Like he's always around with bodyguards and stuff. So I never actually got to meet the guy. Look, I'm not in this space normally, like reality competitions or politics. Sports isn't even my thing anymore, right? It's like I said, I live the typical Hollywood life, actors and creatives, and you know, entering in the business world. I know entrepreneurs now, but like this world is totally different for me.
Right. And I know you maybe didn't know them in person, but I'm sure a lot of them you've seen on television before. Who surprised you the most that wasn't as you expected?
Yeah, it was definitely John actually, because it's like, oh, politician, like this is interesting. Like, what's a politician doing on here? Shouldn't you be doing politics stuff, you know?
What was your favorite part of the castle?
The round tables for sure. I actually, when I did get murdered, I actually was like, ah, crap. I wish I would have enjoyed that one last round table.
I meant the like location. What was your
Oh,
favorite physical part of the castle? That's
no,
good
the
too,
round
but
table,
yeah.
the
Oh, you
round
mean,
table,
okay, you did mean
the
that. I thought you
physical.
meant just the experience. Okay.
Sorry, well, both to me. Like, I actually, the round table itself, like, was so epic that I actually don't even think they captured the grandness of it, actually.
Yeah, it's
Because
too
actually,
big.
it looks smaller than it really is on TV for some reason. But when you're there, it's so big, it's so grand, you know?
Is there anything in particular when you go back to the reunion that you're like wanting to say or somebody you want to see or anything that comes to mind?
No, there's a lot I wanted to say. I mean, there are some things I wish my sense of humor would have been shown a little bit more. I think I wish some of the intelligence that I actually brought to it once in a while, would have been shown a little bit more. Winning the shield, I wish was shown a little bit more like of our strategy and who we
Yeah.
really were, me and Sandra. And also just yeah, I just wish I would have trusted more. There's a lot of different things after watching this that you reflect upon, but yeah, I just wish there was more screen time to get to know the person a little bit. That's all. Because I think based off of not knowing who I am, there's a lot of stereotypes that I've also been a part of. Not a part of, I shouldn't say that. A lot of stereotypes are just put on people by being a race or a gender or being quiet, stuff like that, that I really wish would have shown a little bit more of the personality.
I get that. How has your life changed since being on the show though?
No, not at all. Very odd, right? Like I know it's the number one streaming show in the country right now. Nothing. I mean, to be real, like it's the first show I've ever been on that's a national hit and I lose followers. So, I mean, even on
Never
Bling
know.
Empire, the people that were hated gained a lot of followers. So, very, very odd, interesting experience. But I mean, I did come on here partially because I knew it was a very different audience than Bling Empire. It's a very white audience. And I wanted an Asian guy to be seen in front of a white audience because I know they don't really tune in, to the content that I'm usually in. I just didn't think I'd get no response at all. That's all.
I think sometimes though they watch the nasty people, they want to see people be mean. So you
Yeah,
never
maybe
know. It's probably because you're nice and quiet too, to some extent.
you're right, Jamie. I mean,
Some
and
people look
maybe
at that
that's
as
the
a
thing
bad
too.
thing.
Maybe that's just a medium that I'm just not used to, and I was just being myself, so I can't
Yeah.
really complain.
Reality TV, you never know.
Yeah.
So if they asked you to go back like they did Kate another time, would you do it again?
Depends how much they're paying.
That's always the
But
thing, right?
yeah, no, I mean, like, look, they did it really well. Like, they're very conscious of people's time. They're very efficient when they were filming us, and I would do it again, most likely. I think I would totally change my strategy, and I think people would be shocked how different I'd be on this show.
Did you, before coming on the show, did you watch it to kind of get, hints of what you should do, or did that help, I guess, as the other people
Oh,
did watch it?
yeah. I mean, I watched all the seasons because I wanted to know before I actually agreed to be on the show to make sure it was something that was worth being on the show. And I thought I came in with a great game plan, but like I said, I think I said this at some point. Um, you got to throw everything away because there's so many new rules all of a sudden, right? Like Shields. Who would have known Shields would be on the show the second time? Or you don't die if you don't get recruited. Like, I mean, a lot of these things
Things
weren't.
around sometimes. Yeah, it gets confusing.
Yeah, it just changed so much, and it changes if you get traders out earlier or later. It was. I don't think it's good to have a plan actually.
What's next for you now that you're done? Do you have anything that you're planning? I'm just curious. Anything that you're
Yeah. I mean, I have lots of things. I mean, I'm getting into the comic book world, so I've been doing some web comics. I have a comic book coming out next month, actually. And writing more, being a little bit more behind the scenes as well, trying to still act, going out for auditions. Hasn't been easy after the strikes.
yeah.
It looks like reality TV might be my good, side hustle for a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
acting has been my focus for a while.
What's the name of your comic book? Where can people find it? So they
So it's
watch, they
called
can go find it.
Tajin Legends of Yang Metal. So I'm the creator, and it's going to be on Webtoon.
Okay, cool. Well, hopefully we'll look for that then. Well,
Yeah,
thank you. Appreciate time. Looking
thank you,
forward to the reunion.
thank you so much, Jamie.
Sure. Have a
Bye.
good rest of your day. Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye.